Shalom. Welcome back, everybody, to our people over here in the audience and to our friends at home. Open up your books, please. We are on Yehoshua, the 10th chapter. As we saw previously, the Givonim, one of the 7 nations that lived in the land of Eretz Yisrael at the time, came through trickery to make a covenant with the Jewish people. Seeing that they saw that the city of Ai and the city of Jericho were unable to stand against the mighty forces of the Jewish people, they said, our only hope to live and to survive is to make a covenant with the Jews. So they did. They made a covenant with them. And upon hearing about the covenant, the other kings in the southern area of Eretz Yisrael all got together and said, up until this period of time, we have been unable to stop the Jewish forces. Maybe if we all unite together as one, we will be able to fight against Yehoshua and the Jews. So it came to pass, the chapter opens up, that Adoni-Tzedek, the king of Jerusalem, heard about all the victories that the Jewish people had and what the people of Givon did. Now they were shocked, and there was a tremendous loss of morale amongst the troops because Givon was a strong nation, and if Givon was unable to stand up against Yeshua, what chance did they have? So they got together, a group of 5 kings over here: Adoni-Tzedek of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Eglon, the king of Lachish, and the king of Yarmut. They all got together, these 5 kings, with all their forces, and they made a surprise attack against Givon. They wanted to punish Givon for making a covenant with the Jewish people. The messages immediately come out from Givon, running to Yeshua for aid, and they say to them, do not be slack, do not slack off your hands from your servants. Come quickly and save us. Help us from the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains, who have gathered up against us. So what does Yeshua do? Yeshua, does he want to come and help these people who tricked him? Apparently he has a dilemma with what he should do, but the Kadosh Baruch Hu in sentence number 8 comes and says, and the Lord said to Yeshua, do not fear them, for I have delivered them to your hands, not a man shall stand before you. So with this promise that God is going to help them, and this is the right avenue to take, Yeshua at this point does not hesitate anymore, but immediately gathers his troops from Gilgal, the way station where the Jewish people were, and they go through the entire night. This is a night sneak up attack, and they come suddenly against Givon and against these nations that are over there in Beit Haron. And at this battle, it must have taken place because the Jewish people had traveled throughout the entire night, and now, as the day is breaking, they are going to fight against these 5 nations, and they descended upon Beit Haron, which is right outside of Yerushalayim, and they fled before Israel. Now what happened over here is the Jewish people went out to fight against them, but a miracle took place, and the text tells us over here that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them, and they died, and more were killed from the hailstones, whom then the children of Israel slew by the sword. So it's some type of unbelievable miracle over here that took place, that these meteor rocks came down from heaven and descended upon them and killed off the enemies before the Jewish people. Chazal tells us over here that these were the same hailstorms that we had witnessed in Egypt. One of the 10 plagues that fell upon the Egyptians was hailstorms. Now what was the hailstorm over there? It was a miracle inside of a miracle. The hailstorms were made out of ice, and there was a fire inside of it. Ice and fire usually don't get along so well together, but in this case, to do God's will, they did. And they came down and descended upon the Egyptians. Now if you notice over there, Paro cries out, the hailstones were just too much for him, and Moshe, and he cries out to Moshe to please stop this plague immediately. And Moshe prays to God, and the hailstones stop. They were suspended in airs, basically, wherever they were. I mean, those who had come down on the earth to destroy the Egyptians, that was okay, but those who were suspended from heaven to earth remained there to that particular time. And Chazal tells us that at this particular time now, against the fight of these 5 kings in the southern area of Eretz Yisrael, they descended and killed off many of the soldiers from these 5 kings over here. The rabbis teach us that there is actually a third part to this plague, which is still suspended in midair or in the atmosphere. And these are the comets that circle around the galaxy, and they will descend upon the enemies of the Jewish people in the time of the wars of Gog and Magog, the final wars. So we see over here that there's phases of history completing a complete circle, which started in Egypt, fell down over here by the time of Yoshua ben Nun in order to aid them in their wars against the 5 kings, and will eventually, the ones who are the hailstorms which are still suspended in air, will eventually come down upon the nations that come to attack the Jewish people at the end of days in the wars of Gog and Magog. Now at this point over here, Yoshua speaks up. Then Yoshua spoke to the Lord on that day, when the Lord delivered up the Amorites into the children of Israel, and he said, "Sun, stand still in Givon, and the moon, be'emek ha'ayalah," in the valley of Ayalon. So over here, it's an unbelievable thing, as we know. And Chazal teaches us that the sun actually stood in its form and did not continue in its orbit, which it usually does, or the earth circling around the sun. And Rashi informs us, through the Mechilta, that this is actually one of the songs that is listed. There are 10 songs listed in the history of the Jewish people from the time of leaving Egypt until our present day. 9 of them have been completed. The 10th one will be at the end of days, with the completion of the wars of Gog and Magog against the Jewish people. This was one of them. Rashi tells us he recited a song instead of the sun. He told the sun, "Be silent. Be silent by refraining your song." And as long as it was silent, it stood still, because it could not continue its orbit all the time that it does not recite its song. So apparently the bodies of heaven, and this is also brought down by the Rambam, the bodies of heaven are alive, and they have some type of spirit amongst them, and they praise the Rabbanu Shalom, they praise the master of this world. And that we find also in a small booklet which is said by many people every day. It's called Perkei Shirah. Every animal and every being and every angel, they have a song to sing before the Kadosh Baruch Hu. They're obligated to sing that song. Over here, Yoshua took over the song which was supposed to be cited by the sun, causing it to rotate. So once Yoshua took over the song of the sun, and the sun wasn't singing and praising God, it stood still for this particular period of time. The Midrash goes on to tell us actually a dialogue between Yoshua and the sun. The sun maintained that it was older than man, having been created on the 4th day, while Adam was only created on the 6th day. So he's older than him, so he should not have to listen to the command of Yoshua. But Yoshua said, "But did not the sun and the moon and the stars bow down before my grandfather Yosef?" Remember that Yoshua comes from the tribe of Ephraim, so his great-grandfather was Yosef. Didn't they bow down? So you have to do our will over here. Man is the crown of the entire creation. All that was created before, and of all the bodies, is basically subservient to man and what man has to do. So basically, when man does what he has to do, and he does the work, and he listens to the words of the Torah, and goes in the ways of God, then everything that was made over here in this world is for his use. Unfortunately, when we don't do that, then we have no rights to anything that God created over here. But in this particular case, Yoshua was actually able to stop the sun from its rotation. Chazal tells us that it was for a 24-hour period. They also say that this battle took place on Friday. And Yeshua asked that the day be lengthened so that there should be no need to designate the approaching Shabbat. In this way, for the extra 24 hours, they were able to go out and to fight against their enemies, and the sun never set. In spite of the fact that when we go out to war, and especially a war like this, which is conquering the land of Eretz Yisrael or defending the land of Eretz Yisrael, it is certainly permitted to go to battle on the Sabbath. As we saw that the battle of Jericho took place on Shabbat. It could have taken place on any day, but it dafka took place on Shabbat. Here too, if there's an opportunity, and Yeshua over here is basically taking over the song of the sun and causing it to stop, and he did this in order to lengthen the day so that people would not have to designate the Sabbath. Now it's interesting that Chazal teaches us that this actually took place in a number of times. 3 other opportunities it took place where the sun stood still. One other time was in the days of Moses. In the days of Moses, the sun stands still when they fought against the wars of Sichon. The sun also stands still. We're not familiar with that, and it's not listed in the text, but it was actually an occurrence. Another time took place in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash. A tremendous miracle happened for Nikdom ben Gurion, who was a great benefactor for the Jewish people, and he had donated water for the Jewish people to come up to the Beis Hamikdash. And there it goes. The Talmud goes into a long story exactly how the sun stood still for him. But in any case, this case over here by Yoshua is different from the other 2 cases in that Yoshua actually sang the song of the sun, and the sun stopped for a very long period of time, for 24 hours. Some actually say in the Talmud that it stopped for two periods during this day, each one a 24-hour period, making it a 48-hour stoppage for the Jewish people to complete their victory over these 5 kings. And the 5 kings hid themselves in a cave, and it was told to Yoshua, the 5 kings had been found, but Yoshua is in the midst of this battle over here, so he's not going to stop the battle. What he does is he tells them to roll the great stone over the mouth of the cave and appoint men to guard it. But in the meantime, continue to pursue your enemies and to destroy them. And it was when Yoshua and the children of Israel made an end of the slaying with a very great slaughter, until they consumed with the rest of the remaining people in the fortified city, that the people returned to the camp of Yoshua in peace, and no one actually even spoke badly against the Jewish people. The rabbis teach us that they didn't even shout. An individual, their spirit was totally broken against the Jewish people. They weren't even able to open their mouth and to curse or to say anything bad against the Jewish people. That's how utterly destroyed they were morally and physically. Yeshua said to them at this point in time, after coming back victorious from this battle, open the mouth of the cave and bring out the 5 men of the cave to me. And they did so, and they brought out the 5 kings. Remember, it was the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, and the king of Yarmut. And they brought out these kings to them, and Yeshua called the other people out of Eretz Yisrael in order to see exactly the killing of these 5 kings. He called out the men of Israel and the chiefs of the men. He said, "Come near and put your feet upon the necks of these kings." Now, is that nice, what Yeshua did? I mean, it's not enough that we're going to kill these kings, and their cities have been destroyed, and their men have been destroyed, and their armies are totally destroyed. But do we have to put our feet against the necks of them? Yeshua says to them, "Fear not, neither be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage. The Lord shall do to your enemies with whom you fight." This is the way it's going to be. Chazal tells us that it's not enough just to actually to go out and to kill them, but actually to put your feet, meaning to subjugate these kings and let everyone else know. And this was done publicly, as I said, in order for the other kings that lived in Eretz Canaan to see this, and also for their heart to melt, so that they should not try to go out to battle against the Jewish people, because that did not work out so well for them. Yeshua takes them, he smotes them, he kills them, he slews them, and he hangs them up on the 5 poles. Placing their feet on the neck, Rabbi Kahana brings out that this is similar to the same case as Mordechai and Haman in the story of Purim. That is, when Haman was ordered by King Achashverosh to take Mordechai around the city on the horse that the king rode, and to place garments upon him that the king had worn. So as Mordechai is ascending the horse, he kicks Haman, and Haman goes down into the mud. And Haman looks up to Mordechai, the Talmud tells us, and says, "Is this nice what you're doing? Doesn't it say in the Torah, doesn't it say in your laws, when your enemies fall, don't be happy? So why are you kicking me when I'm down and putting my face in the mud?" Mordechai said to him, "That talks about the enemies of the Jewish people. Then you can't be happy about it. But when we talk about the enemies of the non-Jewish world, then it's a great commandment to be happy at the downfall of our enemies," as Mordechai showed us over here. And this is the lesson that Yeshua is teaching the Jewish people over here by placing their feet on the necks of these 5 kings. So Yeshua kills them and he hangs them, and he put them in on top of poles, and at the end, as the setting sun, as the commanding in the Torah tells us that the carcass should not stay overnight, he cuts them loose and puts them and buries them in that same cave that they ran in to hide from Yehoshua. And at this point, the last part of this chapter goes on to tell us the victories that the Jewish people had. It was just one after the other. Yeshua passed on, and he went to Livneh, and he made war with it, and the Lord delivered him and his kings into the hands of Israel, and they killed them with the edge of the sword, and all the souls, none were remaining. Remember, this is a total wipeout. The Torah commands us, Lo techia kol neshama, do not let any soul live of the 7 nations. It was a specific command from Yeshua when they entered into the land of Eretz Israel to clean house from all of these abominable people and to not let any of them remain alive. And that's exactly what Yeshua is doing over here. Yeshua passes on all of Israel to Lachish, and he camped against it, and the Lord delivered Lachish into his hand, and he took it on the 2nd day, and he smote them with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were in it, according to all that he had done, to Labnach. And then he went on to Gezer, and Yeshua smote them, and he left none remaining. And from Lachish he went on to Eglon, and all of Israel with him, and they encamped against it, and they fought against it, and they took it on that day, and they killed and they destroyed all the souls that were inside of it. And Yeshua went up from Eglon, and he went to Hebron, and they fought against it, and they took it, and they smote it with the edge of the sword, and its king and its cities, and all the souls that were in it, killing everyone, but destroyed it completely, and all the souls that were in it. Once again, from place to place, Yeshua is having tremendous success in the battlefield, destroying and wiping out all the southern area of Eretz Israel. Yeshua returned, and all of Israel with him, and they went to Devira, and they fought against it, and he took the king and the cities, and he smote them with the edge of the sword, and completely destroyed all the souls. None were remaining. As he had done to Hebron, so he did to Deber and its king, and also he had done to the other kings. And Yeshua smote all the country of the hills of the south, and the valleys, and all the falls, and the kings left nothing remaining, but destroyed every soul, as the Lord God had commanded him. Yeshua smote from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza, and all of the land of Goshen till Givon. And all these kings and all their lands did Yeshua take at one time, because the Lord God of Israel fought for Israel, and Yeshua returned, and all of Israel with him, to the camp in Gilgal. So this tremendous victory against all of these kings in the southern section over here. Nobody from Israel is hurt. Everybody returns in peace to the campment in Gilgal, and the entire southern area of Eretz Israel is destroyed in one single sweep, which took just a matter of a few days in order to clear the entire area. Unfortunately, for here on in, the other areas which Yeshua goes to fight does not go so easy and takes much of a longer time. But we will see that next time in the coming chapters. I'm Levi Chazan. I'm coming to you from Yeshivat Rayon HaYehudi in Yerushalayim. Thanks for being with us. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, comments. I'm here for you. Till next time.